world where an AI can actually mathematically prove who's the best based on their real track record, what happens to the person who's just the loudest? What happens to the power of hype when it finally comes face to face with the power of proof? Okay, so what if we could build an AI that just completely changes the rules of the internet? I'm talking about an AI that's not designed for clicks, but for truth. That's the idea we're going to dive into today and really explore what it could mean for, well, all of us. But first, we've got to talk about the problem, and it's a big one. It's this thing we're all kind of swimming in, whether we realize it or not. It's called the visibility trap. And it's basically why so much of what bubbles up to the surface online is all about perception and not so much about actual performance. And, this whole trap leads to a question that I bet everyone has asked themselves at some point, right? Why does it feel like the best stuff, the most valuable, the actually truthful information just gets buried? Meanwhile, all the loud, flashy, and, yeah, sometimes totally misleading content just floats right to the top. See, the system we have right now, it's really only built to reward one thing: visibility. It's just a game of who gets the most clicks, the most views, who has the biggest ad budget. It's simple, but it's gamed so easily. But what if we could just flip that whole thing on its head? What if we built a system that rewards actual value? Truth, real quality, and proven impact. That's the huge shift we're looking at here. And that brings us to the core idea, the solution, an AI truth engine. And look, the goal here isn't just to get better at playing the current game. No way. It's to change the rules of the game entirely. So instead of an AI trying to persuade you to buy something or believe something, you have an AI that's just there to verify what's real. The name they've given this concept is AI.3rd.EYE. The metaphor they use for this is, honestly, it's pretty powerful. An authenticated digital mirror. Just think about that for a second. This isn't an AI pushing an agenda, trying to sell you something or shape your opinion. Its only job is to reflect back the provable, verifiable, cold, hard reality of a claim, a product, or even a person's entire track record. So the end game here, the ultimate mission, is to build a system where you can literally mathematically prove who or what is best, all based on real-world data. And in a world like that, all those false claims, all the exaggerated hype, it just stops working. It becomes totally ineffective. Okay, so that's the big idea. But how does this actually work, in the real world? How could a truth engine really rewrite the rules we all live by online? Well, the first massive change is a shift away from sentiment and towards pure facts. See, most AI out there right now, especially in marketing, is totally obsessed with sentiment analysis. It's always asking, do people like this? It's all about measuring emotion. This system, AI.3rd.EYE, asks a way more powerful question. Is this true? And then it goes and cross-references every single claim against a massive database of facts. And I gotta say, I love this example because it just makes it so crystal clear. The AI basically acts like a de-hype filter. It takes all that classic marketing fluff, this is revolutionary, it's world-changing, and it just translates it into what's actually happening. Okay, so it's a software update, version 2.0, you get a minor speed increase, no new features. Boom, instantly the playing field is leveled. And it goes even deeper than that. The system would also use something called anomaly detection, which is really just a fancy way of saying it spots weird patterns, like fake reach from bot farms. It would also rank content based on its actual impact, not just who's best at gaming SEO. And, this part is really cool, it would use blockchain to create a permanent, unchangeable history of performance, so you can't just go back and delete your mistakes. So this table here, it really sums up the whole paradigm shift, right? We go from a goal of maximizing clicks to maximizing truth. The key metric is no longer popularity and reach, it's merit and impact. The method isn't persuasion anymore, it's verification. And the winner at the end of the day, it's not the loudest voice with the biggest budget, it's simply the best quality. Okay, so this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But what does it actually look like when you apply it? Let's take a look at a case study. It's about a YouTube channel that had this incredible deep knowledge, but almost zero visibility. And we'll see how these principles can totally turn things around. Okay, so here's the before picture. This was the original title of one of their videos. The source material calls this a library catalog title, which is perfect. I mean, it's technically accurate, sure, but it just sounds like a dry college lecture. It's not designed to pull in anyone who isn't already a super dedicated student of this very specific topic. Now check out the after. This is the new title, guided by these AI-driven principles. Right away, it sparks your curiosity with a big question. Can astrology predict heart attacks? And then, bam, it establishes authority, a senior scientist's analysis. All of a sudden, you just have to know the answer. Even if you're a total skeptic, you're intrigued. And another really clever strategy they used is something called microcloning. Think about it. A real expert, a scientist or a professor, they don't have time to be a full-time YouTuber. So the idea is you create one awesome, super in-depth master video. Then you let an AI go through it, find all the best moments, and automatically slice it up into, say, 15 or more short clips for things like TikTok or YouTube Shorts. And every single one of those little clips acts like a doorway, funneling new people back to that original high-quality deep dive content. And the core message of this whole campaign really gets built around this concept. I mean, the internet is just flooded with influencers and gurus who have a ton of followers, but maybe not a lot of real-world experience, right? This strategy completely flips that script. It makes the central message loud and clear. Don't listen to an influencer, listen to experience. And you can see, this isn't just about saving one YouTube channel. It's a blueprint for how any genuine expert can finally cut through the noise. All right, so let's zoom out. Let's think bigger for a minute. What are the real implications of all this? What would an internet that's actually built from the ground up on truth and merit, what would that even look and feel like? Because at the end of the day, this is so much more than just a clever marketing trick. It's really a blueprint for re-architecting our entire digital world. It's about building a system where, just by its very design, substance is rewarded over style, and proven value always wins out over empty hype. And that leaves us with one last and, I think, pretty provocative question to chew on. If we get to a world where an AI can actually mathematically prove who's the best based on their real track record, what happens to the person who's just the loudest? What happens to the power of hype when it finally comes face to face with the power of proof?